Jimmy Kimmel's suspension ignites a political fight. Nvidia pours billions into Intel's comeback, and a new list spotlights America's most breathtaking libraries. Plus, President Trump targets Antifa, Turning Point names a new leader, and a Ferrari hits 101 miles per hour on an aircraft carrier. And here's today's trivia question. Which U.S. state claims the geographic center of North America? It's Friday, September 19th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. I want to welcome you if you're new to the podcast, but a special shout out to those of you who have been with us from the start. We see the data, we know when you watch or listen every day, and it makes a huge difference. Let's take off with the biggest headlines of the day. Let's start with a story sparking both political and entertainment controversy. Jimmy Kimmel has been suspended from ABC over comments he made about Charlie Kirk's death, and it's quickly snowballed into a Capitol Hill showdown. House Democrat leaders are now calling for the resignation of FCC Chair Brendan Carr, who publicly criticized Kimmel's remarks and warned broadcasters they must serve the public interest. Major ABC affiliates like Nexstar and Sinclair even pulled Kimmel's show from their stations. A decision that some insiders say was influenced by the fact that both companies are currently seeking FCC approval for billion-dollar mergers. Reports add that Kimmel refused to apologize in a call with Disney leadership, and had actually planned to escalate his criticism of Trump supporters before the suspension hit, raising questions about free speech, politics, and corporate pressure all colliding in one high-profile moment. Meanwhile, in the tech world, Nvidia is making a massive bet on Intel's comeback. The company announced it will invest $5 billion in Intel, taking a 4% stake, and teaming up to co-develop chips for data centers and PCs. This move comes alongside a separate $5.7 billion investment by the U.S. government for a 10% stake in Intel, both aimed at reviving the once dominant firm under new CEO Lip Bhutan. The market responded immediately. Intel's stock surged 23%, its largest single-day gain in nearly 4 decades. Analysts say the deal gives Intel credibility, capital, and a critical partner in Nvidia, while Nvidia strengthens its U.S. manufacturing base at a time when tensions with China have created uncertainty in global supply chains. Together, the two companies plan to roll out multiple generations of chips, positioning themselves as a powerful counterweight to Asian semiconductor dominance. And lastly, something a little bit lighter. A new roundup of America's most beautiful libraries has just been released, showcasing 10 remarkable spaces that are equal parts cultural treasure and architectural landmark. Highlights include Boston Public Library's Renaissance Revival Halls, Salt Lake City's glass-walled library framed by mountain views, and Cleveland's Beaux Arts main branch. The list also celebrates Pittsburgh's historic Carnegie Library, Kansas City's Central Library, famous for its whimsical community bookshelf facade, and Iowa's ornate State Law Library. Beyond their role as reading hubs, these libraries serve as gathering places and destinations in their own right, drawing locals and tourists alike to admire their design as much as their collections. It's a reminder that libraries still exist. You can see the full list of them in today's show notes. Here are your top political headlines. The Senate moved quickly Thursday, confirming 48 of President Trump's nominees in a single party line vote. Republicans used what's called the nuclear option, which lets a single majority approve a large batch of nominees at once, skipping the usual debate time. This procedural shortcut has been used before, but rarely on such a big group. House members will also see a boost to their own protection. In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, lawmakers' budgets for personal security are doubling from $5,000 to $10,000 a month, so they can hire more private guards or beef up home security. In New York, a federal immigration judge ordered Mahmoud Khalil, a prominent organizer of pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University, to be deported to Algeria or Syria. The judge said Khalil misrepresented key details on his green card application, and immigration officials argued those omissions disqualified him from permanent residency. And the Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to weigh in on whether the president can fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. A lower court temporarily blocked the dismissal, and legal experts say the case could clarify how much power a president has to remove independent Fed officials. Here are some podcast extra stories. President Trump says he's officially designated Antifa as a major terrorist organization, calling the loose network of anti-fascist activists a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster. He's also pushing for investigations into anyone who might fund Antifa, even though legal experts note U.S. law doesn't spell out a way to label a domestic group as a terrorist organization. It's a move that echoes a similar announcement he made back in 2020, but never enacted. Next, Turning Point USA has also named new leadership in the wake of tragedy. Erica Kirk, the widow of founder Charlie Kirk, was unanimously elected CEO and chair of the board. In a statement, the board said Charlie worked tirelessly to prepare the organization to survive, even in the greatest tests. And they believe Erica will carry that mission forward. And over in Italy, a race car driver set a very different kind of record on a ship. He piloted a Ferrari SF90 down the neck of an Italian Navy aircraft carrier and hit 101 miles per hour before braking just shy of the edge, topping his own previous mark of 94 miles an hour. Guinness World Records is now reviewing the feat, but if you've seen the video, you'd know that I think he won it. Still to come, Uber plans drone food deliveries. The NCAA moves to cut its spring transfer portal. And actor Rob Lowe has a new project in the works. For the past 2 weeks, my husband and I have had the absolute privilege to sleep in Cozy Earth's Vicros from bamboo sheets. I'll be honest, when I finally climb in at night, it really does feel cooler than the other sheets that we've used because they're temperature regulating, comfy, and somehow manage to wick away the heat and the humidity. My husband loves that because he kind of sweats at night. And their bubble cuddle blanket, it's kind of like a throw you leave out on the couch because it looks really great, but then you secretly keep it for yourself. It's plush, mid-weight, and has this textured bubble design that's so soft. If you're curious, they make it so easy to try. There's a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty so you can test it without risk. Head to CozyEarth.com and use the code FLYOVER for 40% off. 40% off? What a deal! Your bed should be more than just a place to sleep. It should be the best part of your day, and Cozy Earth can help make that happen. The link to take advantage of this offer is in the show notes. Don't forget, use code FLYOVER for that 40% off. In finance, President Trump and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced a massive tech prosperity deal, a $350 billion investment package that includes building 12 advanced nuclear reactors in Britain and promises around 15,000 new jobs. British media note it's one of the largest US-UK tech collaborations in decades. Next, TikTok's future in the U.S. is starting to take shape. According to a new Wall Street Journal report, Washington and Beijing are working on a framework that would shift control of TikTok's American operations to a heavyweight investor group that includes Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz. And Uber's taking food delivery to the skies. The company will partner with drone operator Flytrex to start autonomous meal drop-offs in select U.S. markets by the end of the year. Industry experts say if the pilot succeeds, it could reshape how quickly customers get takeout, especially in dense urban areas. Read more about this very futuristic story in the show notes below. Here's your stock market update. The Nasdaq climbed 0.94%, the S&P 500 gained 0.48%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.27%. Bitcoin ticked up 0.84% to about 117,000, while gold slipped 0.09% to roughly $3,679 an ounce. The big mover, Shares of 89 Bio Incorporated skyrocketed 85% after Swiss drug giant Roche said it will buy the biopharmaceutical company for $3.5 billion, betting big on 89 Bio's treatments for liver disease. In sports, American sprinter Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone nearly broke a decades-old world record, clocking 47.78 seconds in the 400 meters, just shy of Marita Koch's 47.60 from 1985. Track analysts say that Koch's record has long been viewed as one of the sport's toughest to beat, making McLaughlin-Levrone's time especially impressive. I think so, too. In the NFL, Carson Wentz will start for the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday, which makes him the first quarterback ever to start for 6 different teams in 6 straight seasons. He's played for the Eagles, Colts, Commanders, Rams, and Chiefs before landing in Minnesota, a journey that's rare even in a league known for quarterback movement. Speaking of football, Washington football is officially coming home. The D.C. Council has approved the multi-billion-dollar RFK Stadium project, paving the way for the Commanders' long-anticipated return to the city. Local reports say the redevelopment will also add housing and retail space around the stadium, aiming to revitalize that part of the capital. And in college sports, the Division I Administrative Committee voted to abolish the spring transfer portal for athletes. That means players will only have one main window to switch schools, a move critics say could limit opportunities for late-season transfers. The NCAA is expected to decide in October how long the remaining winter portal will stay open. Now, if this story interests you, maybe you have a son or a daughter playing Division I sports, more info on this is in the show notes. In science and tech, first up, Ukrainian forces destroyed the RT-70 radio telescope in Russian-occupied Crimea. The giant Cold War-era dish once helped track missions to Venus and even beamed signals toward potential alien life. But Ukrainian officials say it's now being used for Russian military communications. And in Armenia, archaeologists have traced 6,000-year-old dragon stones to an ancient water cult. These fish-shaped basalt monuments, well, they were placed near springs, suggesting they were part of rituals honoring water as a life-giving force in the region's prehistoric communities. Here are a few shorter stories to give you on a Friday. France's President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are suing U.S. commentator Candace Owens for defamation, planning to bring scientific and photographic evidence to court to counter her claim that Brigitte was born a male, a rumor the couple has long called false. In a different kind of financial twist, NBA star Kevin Durant says he still cannot access the Bitcoin he started buying back in 2016 because of a long-standing Coinbase password issue. Ironically, his agent notes the coin's value has soared while it's been locked up. Over in Pennsylvania, a homeowner in Norristown grabbed a samurai sword to fend off an intruder, sending the suspect to the hospital and facing multiple charges. And actor Rob Lowe is heading to network television again. He'll star in ABC's new workplace rom-com, The Ram, playing a sports talk host who falls for his producer, with Peyton Manny and Colin Cowherd producing. Here's the results of yesterday's poll question. How often do you change your password? 62% said only when required. 12% said every 3 to 6 months. 10% of you said people do that. 9% voted once a year, and 7% said every month. Thank you so much to everyone who voted. But here's today's poll question. Do you enjoy pumpkin spice flavored food and drinks? Yes or no? You can vote in the show notes below. But for me, I actually do like pumpkin flavored things, but only if it's lightly pumpkin flavored. Okay. So like those pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks are way too strong, but a pumpkin donut, delish. You've made it to the trivia. So which U.S. state claims the geographic center of North America? The answer, North Dakota holds the geographic center of North America, marked by a stone in the small town of Rugby. The U.S. Geological Survey designated it in 1931, and the monument was moved slightly when Highway 2 was widened in 1971. Well, that is it for today's flyover. Now that you have finished the headlines with me, head on over to the Feel Good Flyover with Amy Hess. She delivers stories that will make you feel positive, inspired, and hopeful. She'll also be delivering all of the top headlines on Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you Monday morning. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave a review. Thanks for flying with us.